I've already gotten rid of Codenames, and so has the BGG Top 100 list.
We have gifted it to one of our close friends, and we'll be getting a replacement copy shortly.
Does it matter the way that we get rid of it? That's a debate.
It's not going anywhere.
Hello, welcome to Quackalope. Thank you for being here. This is our BGG Top 100 breakdown, where we working our way through the top 100 board games on BGG.
As we have captured on this poster.
According to this poster, which currently
is wrong.
Is not only a little bit wrong, but also not available anywhere. I don't know why or how they sold out. They need to print like another 100 of them because we're advertising them every time we make this video.
They're going to print out the newest version, which is not going to be what people are going to be following with us anyway.
Here's the thing. Codenames has, like you said, been gifted to a friend. It's actually one of those games that I think I've owned 4 or 5 different copies of it because it's one of those that I never mind if someone loves playing it with us for it to walk out the door.
Yeah, it is so easy to get another copy of. Yeah. But it is also, at the same time, so good.
That is coming later in this episode. In this review series, and leave comments down below if you want any other categories, but we're going to break down the data on the game that we're playing.
Yep.
We're going to give you an overview of the game, and in this case, 3 different games: Codenames Duet, Codenames Pictures, and Codenames the core game, which is actually the one that was on the BGG Top 100. We're going to talk about what makes it right and wrong for us personally, which is sort of a callback to our Right For You, Wrong For You series, which is a larger, more in-depth review to help you decide if you want to add a game into your collection. And then we're going to talk about whether or not it deserves to be on the BGG Top 100. And then finally, we're going to give it our rating.
Personal ranking.
And I'll give a ranking on all 3 of these.
Are you going to combine it into one or ranking for each 3 separate?
I'll give a ranking on each 3 separate.
Perfect.
The other thing that I want to bring into the conversation here,
the game that just booted it out.
Decrypto is currently sitting at number 100.
And it is top in the party game genre, which Codenames is sitting at number 2 in the party game genre.
And is sitting at number 101 officially now on BGG. We need to go ahead and scratch our poster, though.
Can I have a knife?
Yep. And then let's see what artwork we have underneath. While she does that, I'll give you an overview of Codenames. Codenames is going to be a game that's built all around detecting or reading into other people's clues. In the classic head-to-head Codenames game, you'll have a grid of 5x5 of varying types of words. Tree, pilgrim, Antarctica, Mars. And you have to do your best to give your teammate a clue that ties those words together while avoiding what's called the death card. If you hit the death card, you've lost the game immediately. The first person to discover all of their team's clues without giving them to your opponent is going to be the team that wins. It's a great cooperative head-to-head puzzle where you're using your own insight, personal jokes, and miscommunication to weed your way through this network of codes. Codenames Duet is going to be the same type of concept as a 2-player game.
It's very pretty.
Oh, I like it.
Because the traditional one has red and green, so it's red and green with the spy figure on it.
I like it. Very nice. Codenames Duet is going to have the same type of puzzle, except this time you're working on a clue against or with each other, trying to feed each other clues, and you have some dead cards that are the same, some dead cards that aren't, some that you have to guess, and vice versa. Codenames Pictures is going to be the only iteration that we cover in this video. It's going to have the same concept, but instead of words that you're trying to match, you have a series of pictures. And I'm going to go into depth into why this and every other iteration of the pictures genre, which we might actually do a separate video. Alex is the first one to bring this up, but every single iteration on that core word system actually does Codenames worse than the original core game.
Yep.
So that's the overview. We've scratched off the poster. Let's talk about what makes Codenames right for us.
It is so much fun. You can come up with so many different teams, even among your regular player group. We play as couples, we play as boys versus girls, we play as so many different combinations.
Alex and I teamed up as a couple once.
Yeah? Okay.
We failed hard.
It is so interesting to see how in tune you are with your partner in this game and how the clue that you're thinking of can be totally misled. Additionally, it is so much fun when you have the words in front of you and you're given a clue and you go through every single one and you connect every single word to the clue when the person has only given you like a number 2. They're like, tree, 2. And you like, well, acorns are part of trees, squirrels like to run on trees, flowers grow near trees, skies above trees. You just connect everything to it. It is fun making the other team crazy.
I think that by far is my favorite part of this game. I think I prefer this at 4 players.
Yeah.
Head-to-head teams, if you get a little bit higher than that, you almost sometimes have too many voices. It can be a riot, and it can be a blast, but it also is more exhausting more quickly.
I do like duet a lot. I like doing head-to-head with someone else as well.
Yeah.
Someone who knows my clues and understands what I'm thinking and helps us win.
So what you're saying, not with me.
Yes.
Because we failed on the first turn.
We have failed every single game we have played. We have never won this game.
We've played a lot, too.
Yeah.
Like a sad amount. Like, if you were to watch our BGG stats...
Oh, yeah.
We practiced every night for about a week. Here's the thing. I love that interplay. The miscommunication, the telephone nature of thinking you have the perfect clue and then watching as it unravels in front of you as the other team lefts up jokes or says that clearly a tree is related to an acorn. Acorns come from trees. Trees come from acorns. But then also they tie it to squirrel. And squirrels love pears. So for some reason your teammate thinks pear has
pears
to
grow
be.
on trees.
And it's the first thing that they pick. And it just boggles your mind how things spin out of control. And that part of this game is so fun.
Yeah, it is a blast.
I am
love
curious.
Trying to... Should I go into my worst part?
Well, I want to see what BGG says it plays best at. BGG, we're going to differ here, says it plays best at 6 and 8.
Really?
So teams with, I could see 6 being a close argument.
We've played boys versus girls.
One person, team of 2 on both sides. Yeah. If you got the right group, that can be a really good sweet spot. But I don't actually like this necessarily as a party game, which is what it's listed and categorized as. I like it more as like a little couple's strategic social deduction game.
Yeah. 100%.
Which is different. What do you not like about it?
My worst part is when the clues cannot be grouped together. When they are so from so many different directions, and either the clue that you are trying to work around like is the death card that you cannot talk about, or it's the other person's clues and you don't want to give it to them. I like it when the clues all go together. But that's part of the game, and that's part of the fun. Trying to stretch your mind and figure out what is one way that all these words can be grouped in the same concept.
It's interesting, because in my mind, the worst part of this game is not going to be the clues being weird and twisted. It's going to be the people that you play with.
Yeah?
It's a party game.
That's not part of the game, though.
It is, though. This game, just like other party games, relies on the atmosphere you're playing it in. And someone that just doesn't click at all with you, or other people that like start interrupting or twisting, or people that cheat during the game by like giving too much words or giving a word that doesn't quite fit into
or give a letter that starts a word.
Doesn't quite fit into the parameters of the game. There are a lot of opportunities for the game experience and environment to be ruined by the players themselves, which is true in a lot of board games, but more so in party games as a genre. And this one, I think, is plagued by the same nature of it.
Yeah.
The other thing, and it's time for me to dig into this.
Pictures.
The idea of pictures. This is by far my least loved version of the game.
I think what they were trying to go for is a way to make this accessible for younger players. Because younger players, we've played with younger played with younger people, and it is hard for us to actually get them to guess the right, like to read the words. You have to read them all out, and then they can't remember 25 different words.
I think pictures is an okay step into it. I even think in some cases it is a good iteration on the game. It makes it more accessible in a lot of ways. Like it opens the floor to people who aren't as literate, and not even just children, but like a surprising amount of the population actually doesn't read very well. And so with an advanced set of words, pictures actually opens the door to that group of people to play with. It also opens the door for the potential to play probably across languages to some degree. If you know just enough to not function full sentences, but function with like
words,
colors, things like that. Here's the thing. Pictures give too much information. They don't allow you to spin off on wild circles and circlettes as much as words do. Words...
It's too focused. It's not broad enough, you're saying.
Words are open to interpretation. The word, fall. Fall could be the season. Fall could be an action. Fall could be a reference to something. Like, there's so many other things that are tied to it.
I disagree with you, though. Like, a picture encompasses a scene. What would you call this?
You could call it any variety of things.
You could call it baking. You can call it butterflies. You can call it a cookie cutter. Yeah. Like, it's a lot of different concepts you can tie it to.
No, there's a lot of concepts you can tie it to, but it still narrows down the context of the words too specifically. And as you start getting iterations of this, like down to like Marvel Codenames and stuff like that, you're now tied just directly to like Black Panther and Iron Man, and unless you know all of the lore and fanfic, you're too specific. I feel like this version is by far a step down from the high version. Codenames Duet. Codenames Duet, I like the concept of a lot.
You just happen to be so awful at it, which is why you don't like it
Except the fact that the person I play with consistently, she's terrible at it. And it can be really frustrating.
You should find a better partner.
Yeah. It can be really frustrating at times to try to play. Duet also changes the nature of the game in some ways, because you're no longer just focused on your set. You also are trying to like read and understand that what I'm looking at isn't the same thing they're looking at, and that puzzle's a little bit different to wrap your mind around.
I think I like the traditional the best, because it is an opportunity to play with friends. And that's what board games for me is all about, like more opportunities to socialize and play with friends. And just the comedic relief that this brings to the table is fantastic. I'm
always excited to play Codenames. Codenames Duet, I've actually really enjoyed. I want to do their puzzle, but we haven't even been able to check off a single box yet.
We haven't won a game. I think we should win a game first.
And Codenames pictures and every iteration I've experienced from that point on kind of pales in comparison.
Yep.
With that, let's swing over to does it deserve to be on the top 100? And that needs to be brought into context of Decrypto. Decrypto is going to be another party game that twists the idea of Codenames in a way. It sort of does the opposite of what Codenames does. Instead of trying to figure out a grid of words and communicate those words to your opponent, now you're trying to interpret the message that your opponents are sharing with each other. In this game, they're going to be given a sequence of various different words up on a grid here. That sequence of words is now going to be translated to their teammates in a set of numbers. Mm-hmm. I need to get you to guess 3, 4, 2 in that set. So I might tell you, rolling down a mountain highway on Thursday. Like, I could do a song, I could do a phrase, I could do any iteration of verbal action to get you to guess that sequence. But everything I do gives my opponents more information on what that sequence might be. The object of the game is to interpret your opponent's sequence, not their words, their sequence, and guess it correctly, or...
before they do yours.
Or not fail your own sequence when you're communicating with your friends. Codenames is all about discovering the right answer. Decrypto is all about not finding the wrong one. They both play very similar, and I 100% can see why they're competitive, why they're number 1 and 2, why they're now number 100 and 101, but Decrypto just knocked out Codenames.
What are your thoughts?
First off, does Decrypto deserve to knock off Codenames, or is it the cult of the new, and is Decrypto slowly closing down on it? And second off, does Codenames deserve to be in the top 100?
I'll take the second question first. That one's easier for me. I think Codenames does deserve to be in the top 100. I think it is such a fantastic party game that has lasted for such a long time. And then jumping into the first question, I don't think Decrypto does it better. I think it does a different system fantastically well, but I think they each do their own system really well, and I don't think that, although they're going to be in direct competition with each other, I think Codenames should still be up there.
So you're saying that you think the cult of the new is impacting
Decrypto.
This battle.
Yes.
Decrypto, more people are playing board games, more people are ranking on BGG. Yep. Decrypto is the brand new hype, and so everyone goes, rates it, ranks it, reviews it. And Codenames, which has been well loved for a long time, is sort of falling to the brunt of that.
I also have a personal thing against Decrypto. It requires writing. And as an Orthodox Jew, when I play a lot of games on Shabbat, I cannot play Decrypto on Shabbat. I can play Codenames.
Now, most of the world won't relate
That's
with
why I said it's a personal vendetta, which is why Codenames will always rank higher for me than Decrypto ever will.
Okay. I think it's interesting, because when I first played Decrypto...
You loved it.
I argued that it was the better version of Codenames.
Yes. You've played Codenames a bunch more.
No, we've kept going back and forth.
Yeah.
We played Decrypto multiple times. We dug into Codenames a few times. We went back to Decrypto. And I don't honestly know where I stand. I think Decrypto is amazing. I would get rid of Codenames Duet and Codenames Pictures before I got rid of Decrypto.
Okay.
That being said, I don't think I would trade Codenames
for Decrypto.
Yeah. I think they both deserve to be here.
Yeah, that's what I said.
And I'm not upset that Codenames got knocked out. I do think it's partially Cult of the New, though. I think a bit of hype behind Decrypto has pushed it above that ranking system. And if Codenames came out today in the same form and fashion, and it was the only one that existed in its genre, it's hard to think through this. But I think it would go past the top 100. I think it would be buried deep in there. It's better than Patchwork, which we just reviewed.
Yep.
It's better than a lot of the games I see coming up.
Yeah.
So I'm a little sad that it's not
it's not up there anymore.
Not up
very
there.
sad.
I think it deserves to be
I'm
there.
glad that it's on our poster, though, because it's very memorable.
I do think Decrypto deserves to be there as well, though.
Yeah.
Decrypto closing the gate. I think, so like very, very short and sweet on Decrypto, I love the puzzle that you're solving. I love the twist on trying to interpret the opponent's puzzle because it's so open to play. It doesn't narrow you down into a sequence of words. You don't run into that problem that you had with Codenames where you can't figure out how to tie things together.
I find it's too open though sometimes. I like the constriction. And I think this is a player preference. You don't like being so restricted. Like
I love the messiness.
You love the messiness. Like even you don't like Calico. When we're comparing Calico, Verdant, and Cascadia, Calico's your least favorite because of the constriction and needing to do it. I love Calico.
Yep.
So it's a player preference. So, what's our last category?
The last category is going to be our rankings. And I'll set Decrypto off to the side because we'll probably do something more dedicated on this down the road. But I thought it was important to bring it in because it just knocked this lovely gem off. So, you want to start or you want me to go?
You can go.
I think for me, classic Codenames is going to be a 5 out of 5.
Okay.
I think it's just pure joy. And it's one of the best party games I know of. And I hate party games, and I hate the category. I really do.
All right.
But Codenames has to be up there. There are no meaningful critiques for me that take away from the experience outside of other players. And for me, that just comes down to picking who I decide to play this with. In the BGG ranking scales, I would probably put it at a 9. 5 out of 5 doesn't perfectly translate to a 10 out of 10. But yeah, as far as our ranking system goes, and our ranking system is 1's a terrible game, 2's a solid game that you'll make excuses not to play, 3's a really good game that you're happy to play if it's brought up, 4's a game that you really love, it's a great game, love to play it, but it has meaningful critiques, and 5
is a game that is excellent, you are upset when your friends don't want to play it, and the critiques don't take away from the experience of the game. 2, I would also add, is a game that is not for you. Yeah. Like, it could still be a good game, but it's not for you. Did you rate the other one?
No.
Duet and Pictures?
No, what's your top one?
Oh, for...
Codenames. Codenames Classic. The game that we don't even own.
Okay. Classic Codenames is a 5 out of 5. Translates into 9 out of 10, as you said.
Yeah.
I would even venture it translates into a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Perfect game for you?
It's fantastic.
Okay. Codenames Duet, for me, is going to be a solid, 3.5. Okay. It's not as good as Codenames. I've got meaningful critiques of it.
And they take away from the experience.
And it's not as fun. But it is still a lot of fun, and when you bring it up, when you're like, hey, let's play Codenames Duet tonight, I still want to play it. That being said, the longer I go without winning, if I can start checking off that map, that darn map, that puzzle for us to solve, if I can start checking that off, it's going up. If I keep losing, staying right where it is. Just a solid 3. It's like a 7 out of 10 for me on BGG.
Codenames Duet is a solid 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
I love these games, and even if my partner sucks... Codenames Duet is still a fantastic game.
Okay. Codenames Pictures is going to be a 3. None of them drop below. Actually, the spin-offs probably do. But
some of the spin-offs will drop below because they are so focused, and I don't necessarily, if I don't know it, Hogwarts might be the only one that I know enough about the background that would be equivalent for me. Pictures, I am in agreement with you. It's a 3. I will never say no to playing any version of Codenames, but Classic is the best. 5, 4, 3. This will translate into probably 7.5 for me.
Yep.
And Codenames Pictures will probably translate into a 6.
Well, and let's see here. So Codenames General is a 7.6.
We think it's a lot higher.
We think it's higher than the wider BGG community. Do you want me to check?
Pictures.
Well, let's check Codenames Pictures
and Duet.
Codenames Duet is standing right now at a 7.5. And 175 overall, so it's fairly high up there still.
Yeah.
175 is very respectable, especially for a spin-off. Codenames Pictures is going to be currently at a 7.2. Interesting. So the lowest rated But we think this is overrated.
What's its overall score?
350. So it's not quite as below.
It's a double jump from Duet.
Yeah.
But it's still in the top 500. Do you know how many games are out of the top 500 that are still fantastic games?
7.
7?
Yeah,
games?
7. 7 total. Decrypto. Decrypto's sitting at a 7.8.
Yeah.
Published in 2018.
I know, so it's not... I was looking at that. It's
2018 is in the window of Cult of the New.
Yeah.
It really is.
What do you consider Cult of the New?
I'd say the last
5 years?
I'd say the last 3 to 5 years. Where board games really started taking off to another level. When we started seeing the video game industry expand into the hobby space, we started seeing crowdfunding numbers consistently hitting millions of dollars. Before back in the day when something like Kingdom Death happened, it was a 1 in a million. And now every year you see 3 or 4 comparable games doing that. Not doing the same numbers, but doing that system, doing the millions, doing 14K ratings on Decrypto, which I find interesting.
How much does regular Codenames have?
That's what I wanted to check.
You said 14K?
14K on Decrypto, 74K on Codenames.
Yeah, that's why.
So it's I don't know, and I don't know how BGG does their system. That's one of the puzzles, is because Decrypto's Codenames has 74,000 people rating it, and it's at a 7 point something, but out of the BGG top. Whereas Decrypto has 14,000, and those ratings have to be skewed in a way that means it can, like, I don't understand.
Well, I think it was a 7.6 to a 7.8, so.
But I don't understand how that 0.2 makes the difference of 50,000 votes.
I'm curious what time will do to Decrypto.
But do you hear what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, 50,000 additional votes, and you're giving it the win at a scale of 0.2?
Yeah.
It's interesting to me.
Yeah.
No. Either way.
Thank you for watching.
Yeah.
Whatever the case, whatever you do, remember to do the important thing.
Click on the other video. There's other videos all over this series. We are doing probably 200 videos in this series. Boxes are popping up right now. You can hit the subscribe button if you want.
Say thank you.
They don't understand what the boxes are. They're not clicking on them. I don't understand.
Thank you.
Thank you.